It's a Tuesday night in San Francisco. Giants baseball, the Giants and the Washington Nationals. The Giants, who had some real momentum going, and the last couple of days it's stalled a little bit. So the Giants are looking to get back on track, and who better to do it than Logan Webb? He's on the mound. The Giants starter tonight up against the veteran left-hander Patrick Corbin as the Giants try to start a brand new winning streak. And the big news of the day, Casey Schmidt will make his major league debut. He's in the lineup for the Giants. I'm Dave Fleming along with John Miller. It's the Giants and the Nats baseball on the radio.
Hey, everybody, it is May 9th in Giants history, and we go back 13 years to the magical year 2010, the World Series year. You got to get to the World Series by winning games. And here we go with the Giants at New York taking on the Mets at Citi Field. And the Giants are trailing 5-4 in the eighth inning. We pick up the action in the eighth inning with one out, and John Bowker, one of those farmhands who just kind of spent a little bit of time with the Giants, he drew a walk. He was pinch hitting for Sergio Roma. And next up was a guy who a lot of people kind of forget about, this guy being part of the 2010 World Series team. It was Aaron Rowan. Remember, he was on the field when the last out was made in Texas, and he's going to come up big right here.
3-2. Bowker goes again. The pitch is hit to right field and well hit. Francoeur going back, still going back on the warning track. He looks up, it is gone! Aaron Rowan to the opposite field. A two-run homer, and the Giants jump back on top here in the eighth inning, 6-5.
Young Dave Fleming on the call, and Brian Wilson, who was building that legend, had a 5-out save. That's how Bochy used him back then, guys. Giants won 6-5. Oppo homer from Aaron Rowan in the eighth. Wilson, by the way, struck out 5 of the 6 batters he faced for that 7th save. That all happened on May 9, 2010 in New York. Hey, before we get out of here, May 9, 1963, Felipe Alou. What's up, Felipe? He got 3 hits, 2 doubles, and a home run. Giants beat a guy named Warren Spahn. Yeah, the Hall of Famer. And the Milwaukee Braves. Probably heard a young Dwayne Kuiper in this game. As he grew up near Milwaukee rooting for the Braves. Giants win 8-2, 3,920 at County Stadium. Maybe Kuiper was at the game. I don't know. Felipe scored 4 runs, drove in 3. How about catcher Ed Bailey, 3 RBIs? And Billy O'Dell went the distance. He allowed just 1 earned run, improved to 4-0. The Giants were good that year. They improved to a Major League best 19-10 with that win in Milwaukee on May 9, 1963. And this has been Brian Murphy with this date in Giants history.
Time to get you ready for the Nats and the Giants, and to help us do so, John Miller. Hello, John.
Hey, is everything okay? I mean, it was kind of a tough night last night.
Well, yeah, I
was
feel
tough.
great. I feel great. I wasn't playing. I feel okay. I had a beer after the game and felt okay. How'd
But-
you feel? You need a pep talk?
Yeah. I'm fine.
Oh, brother. Well, you know what? Nothing like Casey Schmidt to pep you up for an evening. I'm looking forward to tonight. Baseball's so much fun to see rookies, because football, basketball, you've probably seen them before if you watch college football or college basketball. Baseball's so cool because we haven't seen these guys, so it's fun to watch them come up and play just to see what they look like, what kind of stance they have, all those sort of things. So tonight should be a fun night.
And we've been hearing about him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because he's a gifted third baseman. Those were all of the reports about him, with a great arm. Such a good arm that in college at San Diego State, which has always been an excellent baseball school, he was the third baseman and he was the closer, which has a little bit of a Buster Posey ring to it. But as a freshman, he set a school record with a .28 earned run average and had 9 saves. So, not too shabby. So, and last year, he was with High A Eugene. Did so well there. He moved up to Double A with the Richmond Flying Squirrels. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. So sorry, I got waylaid there. Rocky and Bullwinkle, yeah.
Oh, man.
And
Get
then
an underdog out of there. That'd be
and
good.
then he there's no need to fear.
Underdog is here. I can go. Yeah, we can do it.
But in a year where he was in the A ball, he ended up in Triple A for Sacramento and did well everywhere he played. But also, he played 40 games at shortstop last year, so he was in the Northwest League postseason. They named him they wait till the season's over. Then if you were great the whole year, then you get to be an all-star. And he won the Gold Glove in the Pacific Coast League, even though he was in 2 other levels before he got there in that same season. So, and he also got the minor league baseball overall Gold Glove as the best defensive third baseman in the minor leagues, in all of the minor leagues. So, anyways, we saw him in spring training, and we're impressed with what we saw. And now shortstop, and we'd always heard of him as a third baseman. So he'd been playing a lot of shortstop, as we said, 40 games last year, but he played a lot of shortstop this year as well, with an eye toward, especially the more J.D. Davis here in the big leagues was doing great as the third baseman. The more they thought, well, maybe we ought to give him a longer look at shortstop and let him get more reps over there. So not that he never played third base, but and even the last couple of weeks he even played some second base. So anyway, it's not just us that are going to be excited to see him here tonight. Apparently, he had to leave 50 tickets for family and friends coming up from San Diego. So.
No pressure.
I'd be telling my friends, buy your own tickets. You kidding me? I'm on a rookie scale here.
I'm gonna get my feet wet for a week for a while first, huh? Can I figure out how the big leagues works? As far as him at the plate, I know you were talking about his glove, John, but he displayed some power, you'd said, this spring, right?
He did, and I think one thing that Gabe Kapler talks about in today's Cap, still to come on KNBR, is that he hits the ball with authority into the gap in right center with power and hits it hard. So, which in this ballpark, if you can hit one with authority into that gap, a line drive, that can be not just a double, even a triple. So, so I think they are anxious to see him here and see if it plays. And he has, a lot of guys around him to sort of drill him on the differences between third and short. You have different responsibilities on bunt plays. You have different responsibilities on relays and cutoffs. So, and you have to sort of work with your second baseman on who's covering if this runner at first takes off and there's a play at second. So, a lot of things that you don't have to worry about. At third base, guy takes off for third, you're covering. That's it. So, anyways, I think these were a lot of 11th hour things that they were kind of drilling him on as he was going through his work before tonight's game. So I think everybody with the Giants and around the Giants is excited to see him here because he's a guy that everybody's had their eye on.
Casey Schmidt getting ready for his big league debut. We will talk more with John Miller about tonight's pitching matchup right after this.
Back with John Miller getting you ready for the Nationals and the Giants. It's funny because when you talk about Casey Schmidt, everyone talks about his defense. Talk about J.D. Davis, defense hasn't really come up until this year. Has he mentioned with the drills that he did during the offseason to improve his defense? Or because it's been pretty amazing. He has been like Gold Glove caliber. I know it's still real early in the season. We're not even 40 games in, but I'm wondering if anything changed in the offseason to kind of make him, through this part of the season, an elite defender.
Well, I've been wanting to ask him that, but at the same time, I sort of don't want to ask him about that because he's been on such a roll with the glove, with the arm, the whole show over there. And going back into spring training, same thing, that I just feel like maybe I'll just let well enough alone. He's doing a great job, and that's all that's required. He doesn't have to explain to me how you're doing it because you used to be a hack with the glove, didn't you? You know, so.
Boy, you really turned in your frying pan this offseason, didn't you? Wow.
I called him a butcher at one point. Tom's like, man, that's harsh.
Yeah, they used to say that you were the guy who thought the Gold Glove, you were supposed to use it while you were playing third. Yeah. So, I think that it's a question of repetition, and I think he's always said that. And early in the spring, before the Cactus League games began, Gabe Kapler told a cool story about taking J.D. Davis out to dinner because there were a lot of questions about VR sort of being anointed as the regular third baseman even before spring training started based on what he did last September, and he's the young guy, and all these guys were back and so on and so forth and healthy. So where were the at-bats going to come from for J.D. Davis? And at best, you look like a platoon player, but even then, there was more than one option as a platoon for a right-handed hitting platoon player. But, then all of a sudden, some of the top right-handed bats got hurt. He got to play more, and the more we saw him, and I think this started in the spring. When he played third in the spring, he was the guy making sensational plays. You couldn't help but see it, and it wasn't just a one-off. It was day after day. So I think it's always been in there. But when he had this dinner with Cap said, "Well, how do you see it playing out?" And he told him, "I feel like if I am given the shot, that I have the capability of being an MVP candidate." And Cap, took him seriously because, he saw the ability that's in his body, and so he said, "Well, we're going to give you a shot to prove that right." So, and then the more he played, the more they had to let him play, and this is one of those games. I'm sure NBA, same story. Any professional sport, it's production. And he was producing on both sides, in the field and at the plate, hitting the long ball, knocking in runs when the Giants were having a hard time scoring runs. And he was getting that done, and he got red hot on that one road trip, and also just catching everything and making every play at third base, whether going back in the ball and making the long throw with that great arm. He's got the third best average throwing speed, which we never used to have those numbers available, but his average throw is third best off the radar gun in all of Major League Baseball from third base. So that gives a little more heft to the idea that when we say he's got a great arm, well, yeah, one of the best in the game, and you can measure it.
John, have a great call tonight. Enjoy the debut of Casey Schmidt.
All right, and you think I should go ask him, though?
Well, now that you said that, I feel like I would be a part of it. So no, I don't want to be a part of it.
Maybe I could say, "Hey, the guys at KNBR wanted me to ask you. I don't care one way or the other, but they wanted me to."
Yeah.
How about that?
No. How about no, John?
Tom Tolbert and Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
They're wondering. Just
I didn't really want to ask, but he kept badgering me, so I felt like, what the heck? I'll ask you.
Because it used to be just, ground ball to third, clank,
Clank. And then I can hear John on the call. Oh, that Tolbert really did it to him, didn't he? Wow. Tough
Thanks
break.
a lot. Tolbert and Co. Thanks a lot.
Have a good call, John.
All right. See ya.
Have a good call,
The
John.
pregame broadcaster, Jakes. Tom, we'll see you tomorrow, dude.
All right, Cubs.
All right, Diamond Notes next on the Sports Leader. Adam Copeland back with your Diamond Notes Game 2. Giants and the Nats from Oracle Park. The Giants come in at 15-19. The Nats at 15-20 after the Giants lose 5-1 last night. They've won 7 of their last 10 games entering play today, but they've lost their last 2. The last game against Milwaukee on Sunday and yesterday. Time now to take a look at today's starting pitchers. It's sponsored by Benjamin Moore Paints. Experience the Benjamin Moore retail difference at our independently owned authorized retailers today or at benjaminmoore.com. For the Giants, it'll be the ace right-hander Logan Webb takes the ball tonight, looking to pick up a W after he did in his last start back on May 3rd at Houston. He was cruising scoreless into the 8th inning with 2 outs. In the 8th, he gives up a home run, a 2-run shot to Alex Bregman. He ends up finishing the day with a victory, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks on the season. He's 2-5 with a 3.80 ERA. He'll be opposed by Patrick Corbin. Corbin really falling on hard times. A much different pitcher than the last time or when we used to see him in Arizona. Corbin last year, actually the last 2 years, has led the league in losses. 2 years ago, 5.82 ERA, 9-16 record. Last year, 6-19 with a 6.31. He's this year 1-4 with a 5.17 ERA. 35 losses over the last 2 seasons. If you include this year, he's at 39. Also, he's given up 64 home runs over the last 2 years. That's wildly high. So Giants should be beating up on Patrick Corbin, though they've struggled against lefties this year. Time now to take a look at today's X Factor, sponsored by Casino Matrix. Casino Matrix, progressive jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's going to be Casey Schmidt. That's our X Factor today. Casey Schmidt making his big league debut, really wowed people in spring training. Us here in the media, us at KNBR, looked like the Giants organization as well. 24 years old. He hit .333 with 2 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, and 8 RBI in 15 games and 32 games for AAA SAC this year. He's hitting .313 with a .762 OPS, 1 homer, 10 doubles, and he is said to be a Gold Glove caliber fielder. He'll be at shortstop tonight, batting 7th. He'll be the first position player drafted by Farhan Zaidi to make his big league debut with the Giants. We've got your out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll let you know who's hot right after this. Adam Copeland back here with your Diamond Notes. Time to take a look at Who's Hot, sponsored by Valley Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, voted the best in Silicon Valley and a Lennox Premier dealer. Check this out. Austin Slater in his career against Patrick Corbin is 5 for 10 with a homer. Also, Michael Conforto, who's not in the starting lineup, 10 for 31, hitting .323 with 5 homers against Patrick Corbin. All right, now let's go places with the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Everybody in action today on a Tuesday across Major League Baseball. Rockies are leading the Pirates right now. Never mind, I'm getting a refresher here. Mets are trailing the Reds right now, 7-6. Top of the 8th inning in Cincinnati. Phillies on top of the Blue Jays in Philly, 5-4, top of the 7th. Yankees are up 7-3 on the A's, top of the 7th from Yankee Stadium. Wandy Peralta on the hill for the Yanks. The Braves are up 8-2 on the Red Sox right now, top of the 6th inning in Atlanta. Cubs trail the Cardinals 4-3. Padres are tied with the Twins 1-1, top 7. Brewers trail the Dodgers 4-0 in the 6th inning in Milwaukee. They are getting ready to go down in Anaheim. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani tonight, 4-0 against Framber Valdez, Angels, Astros. That should be a fun one this evening. White Sox, Royals, Rangers, Mariners, Marlins, D-backs, Giants, Nats, all still to come. The Rays lost to the Orioles, and we are out of time. Around the Park is up next. Casey Schmidt Day right here on the Sports Leader.
It's Around the Park with Crook and Kipe, and tonight we got a debut. Casey Schmidt is here. He's in the lineup. He's at short, and we can't wait to watch him play. We'll talk about this young man right after this.
Hey, everybody, it's Around the Park with Crook and Kipe, and today is officially Casey Schmitt Day. Casey Schmitt, former second-round pick by the Giants, came into Giants organization, and there was some discussion as to whether or not they were going to make him a player or a pitcher. I mean, he was really a great athlete. Anyway, he was the number fourth best overall prospect in the organization, and he's really gone through the organization quickly. He hasn't missed a level, and he went right through the A-ball in San Jose, went to Eugene, went to Richmond, and to Sacramento, and now he's in the big leagues.
Yeah, he did a lot of that this year.
That's true.
And he had a lot of people talk about him before spring training, and then he lit it up at spring training. And if you can do that, then you're going to get the attention of everybody. And everybody said, hey, look, he's probably going to be in the big leagues this year. And he did not disappoint. So good for him. He's at short. And you talked about him being a pitcher. His freshman year at San Diego State, he had a 0.28 earned run average with 9 saves. Not bad.
0.28. That's 32 innings pitched.
That's
he
not
was
bad.
the closer.
That's not bad.
But the thing about this guy that stands out, and just because when you get a guy coming through fast, you want to know about him. You want